Today I'm going to show you how to make homemade pizza dough. Rock that intro. Homemade pizza dough. There's not a whole lot of ingredients here, but when we're done, you're gonna have zero excuse other than to have the best pizza dough you've ever had in your life. So let's get to this ingredient list. Our first ingredient is salt. Next to that, we have a little bit of sugar. Next to that is all-purpose flour. Next to that, water that I've heated to about 90 degrees. Next to that is melted butter. And last, we have some yeast. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our sugar and put it in our water. All right? Mix that in. And we're going to take our yeast and do the same thing. Take and mix that in. And then we're just going to give our yeast water a couple minutes to sit. Now, guys, what we just did, our first step, activating our yeast. You wanted your water about 90 to 100 degrees, right in there is the pocket, all right? That's what you want. Now, put that sugar in there. That yeast is going to feast on that sugar. It's going to get some power. And boom, we're going to have the greatest pizza ever. So if we've done this correctly, you should be looking at bubbles inside of your bowl right here. See those? That means that the yeast has activated and has started to work. So we're good. We're going to move on to the next step. Alright, so our next step is super simple. If you've got a food processor, go ahead, we're going to take our flour, put it in our food processor. Alright, super simple, done. Next, our salt in the food processor. Boom, done, super simple. Next, we're going to put our yeast mixture in. Super simple. Boom, done. After that, our butter in the food processor. Boom, done. Super simple. All right, we're gonna get this closed up and we're gonna pulse this. All right, close it. Close it. Close it. All right, we're gonna pulse this a couple times. Alright, so in here we have what is known as a shaggy dough. It is the very, very beginning stages of our pizza dough. Alright, when you're in your food processor, you pulse it a couple times until you roughly get this. And then you move on to your next step, which is you kneading this dough. Okay, so I've got my shaggy dough here. I've got my wooden spoon that I've lightly floured. And I've got a bowl that I put a little bit of flour in the bottom of it. That's going to just kind of help this not to stick to the bowl. All right, so we're going to take my blade out, scrape the dough off of it. Set that off to the side because we're done with that. All right, and then we're going to scrape this dough out of the processor and into this bowl. Alright. Get off my spoon! Get off! Got some ones that are trying to be butt nuggets. Not wanting to get off the spoon. Alright, so we're just going to take a finger and get that off. Alright. So doing pizza dough in your food processor, one of the main reasons I do that is because it keeps my hands clean. This is super non-fussy, non-messy. It's so easy. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't like flour everywhere and you don't like a mess all over your kitchen, use this method. It's so helpful. So we're gonna start this dough in a bowl. Why? Because it's not messy. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of flour in our dough right there, and we're just gonna get it mixed together, right? It's not really mixed together, but it keeps the dough from sticking, right? It starts to make dough. It goes from shaggy dough to actual dough, all right? See that? It's not sticking to the sides of the bowl anymore, all right? Perfect. This is no mess right there. See, we've made dough with no mess. All right, now here comes the fun part. The food processor's done most of the work for us, but this is the part where we get our hands dirty. We get in there, we get involved. This is all about work, all right? The next couple minutes, you're kneading dough. You're getting your hands in there, you're getting involved. You're being one with the dough. Be one with the dough. Be one with the dough. All right, so we got our dough and we got a little bit of extra flour. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of flour, put it on my work surface just to keep it from sticking. No stickies, no stickies. All right, doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit to keep from sticking. And I'm gonna turn my dough out onto the surface, all right? And I'm gonna do one of these. Just gonna kind of mop up a little bit of that flour. And then all I'm gonna do, pick it up, push forward. 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 That easy. Pick it up, push forward. You start to feel like it's sticking to your hands or it's sticking to the board. Grab a little bit more flour, rub your hands, put it on the board, just a little bit, mop it up so it stops sticking. Pick it up, push it forward. Pick it up, push it forward. And you're gonna be doing this until the dough says otherwise. All right, right now, see how bouncy that dough is? We want it a little bit less bouncy than that. We don't want it so springy, all right? So we're gonna mop up flour, pick it up, push it forward. Pick it up, push it forward. Pick it up, push it forward. All right, that's all we're doing for the next probably about 5 minutes, all right? Now I'm gonna speed up because I don't want to take all night doing this. A little bit of flour on our surface, on our hands, right? This is the messy part, but it's also the fun part, all right? Our dough is starting to come together. It's a lot less shaggy than it was to start with, all right? A little bit of dough on our hand, flour on our hands, mop up, right? Up, forward, up, forward, up, forward, up, forward, all right? Super easy, super easy, super easy, all right? We're just gonna put a little bit of flour directly on this dough because it's starting to stick, all right? All right, up, forward, up, forward. That's all we're doing, up, forward. Pull it back, forward, pull it back, forward. All right, got that? Super easy. All right, how's your arms? That was a workout, right? But it was fun. I love doing this. I love kneading dough. Why? It makes me feel like an 80-year-old granny. It connects me to all the people who have done this years and years and years and years and years before me. It's a lot of fun. Get your kids involved. If you have kids, it's so much fun. All right, so the next step, super easy, but super important. I cannot even tell you. This is the tricky part. This is the part where it seems like, how do I get that perfect shape? I'm gonna show you how. All right, so we worked our dough for about 5 to 6 minutes. I've just kind of taken and shaping it into a circle, just like that. what you're going to do is you're going to get a little bit of flour on your hands. All right. And you're going to pick up your dough. All right. And you're going to fold it underneath itself on both sides. See that? Just pull it like that. Take and flip it around and do the same thing. All right. Take and flip it around, do the same thing again. Take it and flip it around and do the same thing again. You're just folding the dough on the ends underneath itself. That's all you're doing, all right? And then after you've done that a couple times, you're just gonna put it back down, right? And you're going to spin it and form it into a ball. That's all you're gonna do. See that? Ball, right? Do I need to do that again? Let's do it again. Flour on the hands so it doesn't stick. Take the ends, fold it underneath itself. Just like that. Turn it around. Take the other ends, fold it underneath itself like that. Turn it around, fold it underneath itself. And again, all right? Put it down. Spin it. Form a ball. Get it? Got it? Good. All right, so we've got our dough in a floured bowl. Our dough needs to rest. It has had a long journey to becoming dough. We've worked it hard. Okay? So it needs to rest. It's going to stay here at room temperature covered with plastic wrap for about an hour. Now, you could let it go longer than that, but I ain't got that kind of time. I ain't got that kind of patience. So, dinner needs to get to the table. We're gonna let this rest for about an hour and we'll come back and check on it. All right, guys, patience is a virtue. We have let this rest for about an hour and now it's time to shape this pie. All right, so our dough has rested. It's about doubled in size. What I'm gonna do is we're about to shape this. So I'm gonna take a little bit of flour, put it on my hands, and smack. Give it a nice smack and release the gas that's kind of built up in that. And then we're just gonna flour our surface again, and we're gonna pull this out of our bowl onto the table. All right, boom. All right. Get rid of that. All right, and because we did the hard work of shaping this earlier, it's already in a nice circular shape. Do you see that? Freaking beautiful. All right, so all we have to do now is to get this to stretch outward into a bigger circle, right? So all we're gonna do is take the tips of our fingers and just gently push down outward from the center, right? Tips of our fingers outward towards from the center, right? Now, you can continue to do it this way, or you can take a rolling pin and roll it. Once you've got it a certain size you want, you can take a rolling pin and roll it the rest of the way. But as you can see, that did not take much. You see that? That was super easy. All we had to do. Super, super easy. I told you guys, I told you this was going to be easy. I told you. And just like that, guys, just like that, we have a pizza crust. Just like that. You see this? Beautiful pizza crust. Just like that. Look at that. Look at that. We have made the most perfect pizza dough to start with. Top this with your favorite toppings. Marinara, pepperoni, sausage, cheese, whatever you like. But this is where it begins. This is where it starts. Alright guys, that is it. Just that simple. Couple steps, a little bit of work, and you got fantastic pizza crust to make your very own homemade pizza. Listen, I gotta go. I got this pizza in the oven. It is smelling so good. But before I go, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you liked this video, like it, subscribe, share it with your friends. Please, I need more subscribers. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I am T.A.G. This is Springboard Kitchen, and I'm out.